we're living inside of a generation where it's completely ruined by lust. And just to really take this to like a certain context, imagine it being back in 1980, for example. The amount of nuts that are busted daily by people is crazy, right? And think about it, like back then, like you only like use it through magazines, and the frequency of the amount of people that was doing that constantly, like 2 to maybe 3 times a day, was actually probably rare. But now that's really common to go ahead and do. And we kind of like to pinpoint like the World War I, World War II times. Of course, dudes in the army were doing stupid stuff. Of course, dudes in the army will go ahead and release it in a little bit. Of course, they were doing stupid stuff like that. Lust was still a thing back then. Like you even think about like the Vietnam War. If you watch like documentaries or movies going over to Vietnam, some of these guys were married, man, but they were getting addicted to drugs. They were going ahead, and you know that you coming in as a foreigner over into a country like Vietnam, you you're gonna be a target, especially if you're a white dude kind of going into like the southeast, like the South Asia area. You're gonna be a target, and a lot of dudes were having kids over there. A lot of dudes were hooking up. A lot of dudes were doing that. Like lust still was a thing back then, and a lot of people, when we kind of just talk about this topic a little bit, we just tend to forget that that was a legitimately a fact. Lust was still a thing back then, but the amount of frequency that it is as of right now, even going back into like 2017 when I was in middle school and stuff like that. Of course, like dudes will show videos like in the PE locker room, showing videos of BBCs on this, showing you pictures of BBCs to you. Like, hey, bro, come and look at this, and you see like you see like Jason Love on your screen or something like that. Come on. But like, seriously, like dudes, like I used to make jokes like all the time. Like I beat my junk all day long, and in reality, I did not beat my stuff in middle school. I got into it around age 15, my sophomore year. But I grew up. I am still in categorized as the hood, and if I feel like more low income areas, that is just more like super normalized to a point where it's more open to go ahead and then just like talk about it. I feel like more in like suburb areas that, yeah, of course it's still a lot, like, but I feel like it's more like richer like white like areas, like white Asian areas. I feel like it's more something that you just don't want to go ahead and talk about with your parents. So, like you just like never talk about with your parents. You still don't want to go and talk about your parents, even being inside the hood. But I feel like I really feel like that is something that you just do more in secret. You're not as open to your friends. You're not as open to just like making this like random jokes about this stuff like constantly, man. Of course, it's like still over there. I feel like this is just a little bit more normalized, like in the hood, because a lot of people who get a lot of the actors, a lot of people who even do stuff in general on the sites come from this environment, or people who are trafficked, or people who come from low income areas, people who come out of prisons, people who don't have no hope in life, and they just go ahead and sell their body for views and clips, and horny dudes. And we don't go ahead and acknowledge that too, that no one's winning in this lust game. Like, the people who make the videos to the people who legitimately want to go ahead and to the people who actually watch the videos in the first place, like it's bad everywhere. There's no pros. There's no pros in doing it for the people who make it and for the people who don't make it. Of course, you still get the money though, but come on, is the money worth it if you're gonna sell your soul for some money that don't really mean anything? Like, you imagine Johnny Sins walking out in public, like, oh, that's Johnny Sins, like, come on, dude. Hopefully that didn't turn you on right there, because yeah, you hear a lot of spinning on sites, and so many commercials too are so like over sexualized. There's like this Levi commercial, and it's just showing like the girl, like how fitted these jeans are on this girl. Like, it's showing the girl's like butt, and how the jeans are fitted on her. And I feel like that commercial probably like triggered so many guys to go ahead and just go ahead and just release one. And the overall frequency in today's day and age, like, you think about it, the amount of people who are beating their meat like multiple times throughout the day has drastically increased. Like, of course there has still been lust. People doing this stuff like back then in World War One's, like, even though like the alpha males like to say, oh, guys are in wartime, they weren't doing that stuff. Guy, of course, like, you're legitimately in the battlefield, you're legitimately in the trenches, like this, like a trench. This is like a trench, for example, kind of. You're not gonna be slapping your junk. Those guys still were doing stupid stuff, but it wasn't as frequency. It was serious, right? Life was serious back then. It was wartime. There's no reason to go ahead and do that, but you can't act like they're on a 2 year long retention journey. You can't go ahead and say that, because that's just not true. Of course, there were some guys doing that. Of course, there were some guys who were actually like 24/7 in the battlefield, who had no time to go ahead and think about that. But of course, there was dudes in the war who were still doing that as well. Like, you just can't go ahead and just ignore that. But today's day and age, like, this is 2020, like, after the pandemic, it's super normalized. You even got memes now, so many memes about guys doing sus things, doing gay things, dude. So many memes about dude gunning in a drive-through. Like, the dude who made that video ended his life, and no one likes to go ahead and pinpoint that to the hub, but that legitimately that is a reason. Like, the hub is a reason for people, is a reason for JDon doing those predator capturing videos. Like, legitimately going on the hub and watching those stuff is creating so many weird fantasies. It is getting guys in so many weird headspaces that it's ruining society, man. It's making guys think with their head. It's making guys act like Josh Giddey, bro. And you know what Josh Giddey did? Like, he made a mistake, and he ended up doing a peace sign with a girl, bro, saying, I just did the deed. Like, come on, dude. Oh my gosh. But the society, it is, man. I got done being off to the hub today too, man. Like, come on, man. And man, dude, we have to go ahead and just do. We gotta put an end to this, man. We gotta. There's no reason why we should be watching the hub. There's legitimately no reason. Like, the amount of over sexualized things, if it's on social media, if it's Instagram models, if it's TikTok, if it's a TV show, if it's an anime, there's so many things, so many outlets, so many triggers that go ahead and trigger lust, man. And there has never been a point in the world that there is so many triggers to lust in today's day and age. We are seeing so many guys' meats, like BBCs. We're seeing so many we're seeing so many people's bodies. Like, the amount of girls that we have seen on there is something unimaginable compared to what our society was this 50 years ago. Unimaginable. Imagine during the 1800s. Unimaginable. Unimaginable. And so many guys just have so much less of a drive, man. It's so fascinating that we could spend more time worrying about gooning than actually worrying about God. We could spend more time worrying about gooning and having that urge of gooning and indulging in that urge of gooning. We could focus more time on that urge than we do on God. We could indulge more on that urge than taking actionable steps to go ahead and improve our life. And yes, bro, it's hard, bro. When we have those urges to go ahead and watch the sites, when we have those urges to go ahead and release, it's hard, man. And especially too, if you're a virgin like me, and sometimes you want woman validation. I'm over the point of where I want to go ahead and just release it to some random girl. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not going down that path no more. But this path takes you down watching multiple videos on YouTube on trying to go ahead and improve your dating life, and you're someone who struggles with social anxiety. You're someone who struggles being can't struggles with talking to girls, because a lot of the girls that you kind of really like to begin with, you're yanking off to them. You're worshiping them, right? There's even like niches in there like JOI, and that makes you go ahead and like submit, man. Like you as a man is submitting to a girl on a screen that has full control over you. And we tend to wonder why we can't get things done in life. We tend to wonder why we don't have goals in our life. Like, so many guys are losing their lives to this stuff, man. So many guys are ending their lives because of the hub. So many guys are, man. And it's not even funny no more. It's so bad, so bad. And the amount that the crazy thing is how normalized that it is. Like, it's normal to go ahead and say that, yeah, just a joke around saying, yeah, I just got done doing a 4-hour goodness session. It's normal to go ahead and do that. It's normal to go ahead and say that. It's normal to go ahead and edge your whole entire day. It's normal to go ahead and beat off. It's normal to go ahead and watch the sites. It's healthy to go ahead and do it. It's healthy for your prostate. Is it? And I don't like to go ahead and say that the hub is a reason why you can't go ahead and talk to girls. For some of you, it is. But I still have known plenty of friends who watch the sites and still are able to go ahead and still go ahead and have the confidence to go ahead and talk to a girl, to go ahead and get a girl, to go ahead and get a girlfriend. But watching that stuff in a relationship, though, that's something also too, man. Like, we're watching the hub in a relationship. What? And the hub has so much rent. It has so much rent inside of your mind. It's actually mind blowing. It's making guys go ahead and commit crimes. It's making guys become preds. It's making guys do poor decisions. It's making guys think with their head down there. It's making people do crimes. It's making people do so many random things, man. Like, it's making it's so fascinating to a point where, like, you just get so tired of 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 like legitimately just being off in general. So you say F it, man. Let me go ahead and discover the male G spot, bro. And you start fingering up your butthole now. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is mind blowing just talking about this, man. But like, the amount of guys who probably realize like their sexuality through the hub is just crazy, dude. Like imagine like usually a lot of guys come out when they're in middle school, high school, and junk like that, and they're probably just being off to like they're being off to a girl and stuff like that. But they start focusing on the meat and the hub too, man. Like the algorithm, man. Like you could randomly just be scrolling, and it's out of curiosity, you just watch two dudes going crazy together. What? Out of curiosity, you just watch the male G spot, and you start to try to go ahead and do it. What? And some people might just legitimately get offended by this, say, "Oh, they're exploring themselves, they're figuring themselves out, man." If this was 50 years ago, dudes wouldn't even have the thought of just massaging their prostate. But legitimately, that is a thing in today's day and age. There's there's so many sexual things on there that, out of your curiosity, it's mind blowing. The amount of niches, the amount of genres, the amount of fantasies on there is completely mind blowing. And it's so hard. Like even going to like a gym, man. Like you're over sexualizing the girl. Like you can't even treat the girl as a person no more. You you only want to go ahead and use her for her body. You're going on dates because yeah, you don't care about the person. You're just saying she can say whatever she wants to say. Say yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen to her. Go ahead and smash her, and that's your way of going ahead and getting respect in today's day and world. And growing up in the hood, that is something that is like some currency, man. Like, yeah, bro, I got the huzz. I'm going crazy with the huzz. I went crazy with her. I went crazy with her. Like your friends dapping you up. Your friends saying, "Yeah, hey, man, you're that guy, man." Is that just where we're at too? Like, is that how disconnected we are from this God in general? The fact that the fact that we are hooking up with so many random girls for no reason, and that we're dojing in these sites, that we worship these people on these sites more than we worship God. We're worshiping these people instead of worshiping God. Even if you don't even believe in God, man, like you're worshiping these people who don't mean anything to your life, man. Like those people who make these videos are suffering too, man. And for example, some of you guys are legitimately, if you go to the gym, if you're on self-improvement, you're better than majority of these guys. And these guys are able to go ahead and get some play with a girl. Like you should be able to go ahead and get some play with a girl, dude. You just have to go ahead and be confident. And you don't realize that, man. You don't realize that you've been on self-improvement, you've been improving yourself, you've been taking care of yourself, you've been making an effort. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and talk to a girl, man. I need to go ahead and do that myself, man. And two, if you try to really take self-improvement serious in the first place too, it's hard to go and focus on the grind. It's hard to go and focus starting up a business. It's hard to go and focus trying to go ahead and lock in, because you're indulging in lust. You're indulging on these sites, and it's draining you, man. It's really draining you. But as well, I have to go ahead and explain this as well too. Like, I watched the hub yesterday, and that really did not affect my workout. I was still able to go ahead and push with my workout. I was still able to go ahead and do that. But it just takes away that fight from you, man. It takes away that burn, that fire, that Holy Spirit from you, man. It takes away that fire to go ahead and and be and be that person, man. It takes the fire from the way of you actually achieving your life, man. Like it's at a point where we feel so guilty too after we get done watching the site too, man. And since we feel guilty, since we're feeling all this negative emotion about ourselves, since we're feeling so bad, we're feeling this guilt, feeling this depression, we're feeling this anxiety, we're feeling all these negative effects. Those negative effects just end up keeping you inside of that loop. And if you're feeling completely garbage after doing it, you're just gonna end up keep on doing it. And for you to let go of those emotions and realize that everything is going to be okay and have confidence and know in your path, you will go ahead and overcome it, man. And that's something that really had me doing good, doing too much of retention. As of right now, I've gone back into guilt trips. I have gone back into feeling bad about myself, making poor decisions, man. I felt bad not hooking up with a girl that I went on my first date with. Right? I felt bad because I wish I would have done it. I don't wish I would have done it, but I wish I would have gotten it over with because I am a virgin. But at the same exact time, too, I wasn't really like, I didn't really feel like she was the right girl to listen to in the first place. But that was something I had confidently felt before, and during the interaction of us of each other actually trying to like potentially go ahead and do something. I just had to go ahead and escalate the situation a little bit to go ahead and to get her to go ahead and go crazy with her. But I trusted my gut, and I glad I did, man. But man, this society is really sexual, super sexual. Random conversations, if it's TV shows, if it's whatever it is, if like generally watching beach volleyball, like a guy like watching women's beach volleyball, like you can't even focus on the volleyball, you're just focusing on the cake. Gymnastics, you're just focusing on the girl's body, you're focusing what the girl brings value to you in the bed instead of actually the value that she actually brings you. And we as guys reflect that back onto our society, and the girls are kind of are really a reflection of what we are as men. And yeah, I think that's this where I'm going to end off here.